Good day or good evening, whatever time it is where you're watching this video. I have been approached once again by my comrade, my spirit friend, my deity friend, Anubis. He has been letting me know pretty much all day that he wanted a part 2. And I sat down with the cards that I have that he wants me to use, and I was shuffling them, and I wasn't really getting much of a topic of what he wanted to talk about. So I just sat here with the energy. He requested me to put on some temple music in the background as well, so I did that, and I grabbed my oracle cards and I started clearing and shuffling. And as I did that, this is the card that fell out. And it's Kepra. Cycles of Change, Planetary Guardian, and Spiral Dancer. So Kepra, this ancient scarab beetle who is the protector of Earth and also of its creatures upon it, is stepping through the temple of Anubis. And she wants to talk about cycles of change. Things are changing at a rapid pace, I'm hearing. And Kepra works to bring forth necessary changes. You know? The changes that are necessary on a planetary level. You know, she transmits powerful cosmic forces, you know, that radiate into our planet. And so I think this is amazing that she showed up. And I'm noticing this card is just kind of poking more outwards, so I'm curious to see what it says. It's Khonsu, lunar energies, divine timing, and blood mysteries. Right out the gate, I'm hearing that these changes that are occurring are according to divine timing and divine will. I heard it's high time. It's high time for this divine timing. And I particularly love Khonsu because he is closely tied with one of my main guides, Thoth. And he's known as the Wanderer, you know? He's also the protector of the travelers, and he's also the measurer of time. So I think what Anubis is getting at here is he's addressing these people in the collective who are travelers. And I'm not just speaking of 3D traveling. He's speaking right now to those of you, and now I can kind of see the alchemy of all this because of the short that I put out this very same day when I'm filming this in the morning. And it was talking to someone about how they're doing great things in the astrals, and they can't quite remember exactly what they're doing, and a lot of their work is when they're sleeping, but also when they're awake, and that their subconscious takes over autopilot in the 3D because they're on call in the astrals. They're constantly on call. And you can notice that things in your 3D life are taken care of. Something as simple as, like, you know, maybe the trash being taken out, but you don't quite remember taking out the trash. That's because you were in some other dimension, in some other realm in your menti, and your subconscious took over at that point and was still getting the chores done for you. You know what I mean? And so I think Anubis is wanting to bring forth more of a message about this. And I apologize, Anubis. When this message came out this morning, when I recorded that short, I was still asleep. I literally had just woken up, and then bam, the message hit me. And I was like, I gotta turn on my recorder right now, because otherwise I'm not gonna remember what's being talked about here. But I apologize to Anubis because I didn't realize that was him coming through with the message. So with respect, I have high respect and high regards. I do apologize, Anubis. I did not realize that was a message that was being channeled from you. But thank you for that. So we have cycles of change. We have divine timing and protection of the travelers. I'm hearing, do not be disturbed that these things are occurring. Bless you. My daughter sneezed. I apologize. Do not be disturbed that these things are occurring. Don't be disturbed that yes, you are doing things, work. You're working in the astrals. Yes, you are. And you play some major key roles in all of this change that is occurring on this planet, specifically. There's a lot of entities that are being battled in the astrals as well. There's a lot of thieves and tricksters that are being defeated at this time. And you play a big role in all of this. So when you come back to the 3D reality, don't really have a question as to what you were off doing. Because you're also, it's almost like a double mission, because you're also here in the physical to do even more here in the physical, in the physicality on this planet as well. And now Anubis is pointing out the last video that he made an entryway into my channel through. The thumbnail literally says Anubis, if you want to go watch it if you haven't seen it yet. But there at the end, he left a little cliffhanger. Because somebody out there needed to know that their children were protected. Anubis is known as also not only the god of the underworld and for death, death and resurrection and all that, but he's also a protector of children. And he was adamant about the message that your children are safe and highly protected. So perhaps you have a child, or perhaps you are someone's child. We're all someone's child too, right? But it's in the knowing that you are doing this kind of work. Or perhaps you know that your child does this kind of work. And you're concerned about the safety. And I'm hearing Anubis say, fear not. Because they are here doing what they are supposed to be doing. And they are highly, divinely protected. And they're bringing in this change for a very, very important reason. And when you're doing divine works like that, you're automatically highly protected at all times. Even in the 3D. Even in the 3D. And I'm going to share this one thing with you guys. Just the other day, I got off of work and I ran down to the ATM, which is about a half a mile away from where I work. Tires felt fine the entire way. As soon as I got to my destination of my ATM, a guy pulled up next to me, and he got out of the car, and he seemed really upset about something that he needed to tell me. It was like an urgency. He was tapping on my hood, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm still in 3D mode at that point. And he says, your tire. And I go out and I look at it, it's completely flat. I swear. I don't know how I was able to drive all that way on a completely flat tire. There was a nail right in the middle of my freaking tire. So that's what I mean by divinely protected. It's almost like I was teleported to my destination. And the minute that I got there at that parking spot was the minute that the tire gave way completely. All was safe. Everything was dealt with. Got the tire fixed within less than 24 hours. That doesn't matter. But it's just that story so that you can understand what divine protection in the 3D even looks like. It's the simplest of things that go wrong that could have been a way bigger issue, and yet they happened in a divine way to the point where nothing happened to the car, nothing happened to the rim, no accidents, there was no blowouts on the freeway, none of that. If it had to happen, it happened a perfect way. If that makes sense. And that's the story that Anubis wanted me to share with you, because these are some things that you're concerned about with your loved ones. Or with yourself. And he is very serious about letting you guys know that when you're doing these kind of works, you are insanely divinely protected. Even with gods of the underworld. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Now we have the Sphinx. The Divine Messenger. Earth Altar. Cosmic Library. Notice that it's the number 5 card. 5 stands for what, my friends? Change. And the Sphinx. The Sphinx holds all of the knowledge, right? All of the Akash. It's like this massive Akashic library. That's what this Sphinx represents. So whenever you think that these works that you're doing are not going to be remembered, trust me, they're being I'm hearing uploaded. They're being uploaded to the Sphinx, to the Akash. So even if you can't remember it right now, it does not mean that it doesn't exist and that it didn't happen, that it isn't happening, and that it is all being recorded. It's all being recorded. It's a record keeping. And I'm also hearing at this time that if you really do want to know what's going on, some of these aspects of your work can be revealed to you, but only a certain amount. But this is something that you can go to. You can go to the Sphinx about it. Go in meditation. Purposely go to the astrals if you know how to do that. But meditate on that Sphinx with the question that you have in your mind. If you remember a little tidbit here and there and you have a question about it, you can take it to him and he's going to guide you and show you what's happening, what's going on. And this also goes for the fact that if you want to learn more about your past history as a soul and what your soul line of work is, you can also approach the Sphinx about that. He can help you with that. So as the information is being uploaded to this library, if you approach it, with regarded respect, and you want to tap into it, you can. So it's uploaded, and then when you tap into it, it's downloaded. You feel me? And sometimes these downloads, they don't come in as like in your menti. They come in through your DNA, through your activated DNA at the time, and they come through just a knowing. So when an experience pops up in your day-to-day life, you just have a knowing of something in your past life that has been related to it, and it's triggering a memory. And so that's how the memories are triggered. I hope that makes sense. But I'm feeling like there's someone out there in the collective, or maybe a lot of you, who are questioning how to do these things. And so I'm feeling the energy of Anubis in this video. He's being very instructional. Very much so. At least as of right now. But he does have that underlying message of change. So we've got cycles of change here. We've got the travelers. We've addressed the travelers and what they might be questioning at this time. And then we got the divine messenger, the Sphinx. Let's go ahead and tap into the cycles of change. What are some planetary changes that are taking place through this work of the travelers? Anubis. Wow. We have wisdom. We have devastation. And then we have renewal. And we have thought with wholeness on the bottom. So we definitely have wisdom. We have the knowing. We have the knowledge of past devastation here on this planet. Stemming from ancient places like Lemuria and Atlantis. Just completely devastated. And there is a sense of renewal in the sense of humans have evolved from those devastations, and we're still here, and we're rebuilding. And we're striving. Perseverance is underneath that wholeness. We're striving to reach this. A planetary wholeness. And so while these changes may seem like they're devastating, it has a promise of renewal and of wholeness. And now we have hope, dude. Now we have hope. Sometimes all the change needs is a little bit of hope and perseverance. Enlightening. That's what this change is doing. On a planetary level. Can you imagine that? A planetary level of enlightenment. Yes, it does seem like we're very far from that. It does. But I'm pretty sure as an astral traveler, you understand that one lifetime here on this earth is but a blink of an eye in the other dimensional realms. And the children that are being born onto this planet at this time are going to be the holders of this new wholeness on a planetary level. Because the parents are awakened. And they're being raised by awakened parents. Therefore, their children, they come into this world awakened, right? We got transformation too, fruitfulness. But they come into the world woke to things. They're highly, highly, highly psychic. They're highly gifted when they are born into this planet. What turns it off is the programming through the parents. Control the parents. Control the children. That's how it's been for thousands upon thousands of years. That's what's changing. It's changing because you woke up. It's changing because he woke up, because she woke up. They had children, and their children are born woke, and they're staying woke. Can you imagine the progress that these children are going to make How many years has it been? For me, I ain't afraid to say it, 40. 40 years old for me. It took 40 years for me to get to this point where I'm at today. Imagine a child just automatically getting the chance to realize who the fuck they are from the minute they can consciously remember things. That's how this change is happening. And I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what these children do when they grow up. Because it's going to be amazing, dude. You can feel it in my voice. It's making me tremble. I'm trembling with excitement. And thank you for raising your child to not be programmed the way we all have. And that's where that protection's coming from as well. That's what Thoth is saying. That's what Ma'at is saying as well. Ma'at's here too. Divine justice. The divine weighing. They're born with that wisdom. And it's not going to be discarded anymore. It's not going to be deprogrammed. It's not going to be taken away anymore. And the more people that wake up, the more children are going to stay woke. So that's where Anubis' protection is coming from. And now I understand it as well. Having my own child. Very gifted one at that. That's amazing. Thank you, Anubis. Thank you, Thoth and Ma'at, for showing up as well. They are a divine mother-father figure in my life. And that's one of the confusions, too. Especially with those who are just starting to wake up and questioning things. It's good to question things. It's how you learn. I mean, I constantly question spirit all the time because I want to learn stuff, you know? And the higher I get, the more I want to learn. My learning will never stop. But that is something that does get a little confusing there. Because your soul resonates hardcore with certain things. And yet on the outside, you know, we don't look like we come from there. We don't look like we've been there before. It's not in our blood, but it's in our soul blueprint. And that's the part where it gets a little confusing for some people. That's very understandable. But keep on going. Things will make sense to you. Just hit up that Sphinx. Hit up that Sphinx. I'm feeling the energies lifting now. I want to take this time right now to thank Anubis once again for coming forward with these divine messages. And I want to thank all of you for giving me this platform to be able to do this work. I really hold it deep in my heart space, and I thank you guys. Each and every one of you, I thank you. And I love you all unconditionally. Everybody. Every walk of life. You're all beautiful. And thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up here at this time. It's an amazing time to be here. It's the catalyst for the change. And fear not. With divine works comes divine protection. From places that you wouldn't even expect it. From places you were programmed to think that it was wrong to accept it. I'm here to tell you it is nothing wrong with it. And I appreciate the protection of Anubis. Amongst the angels, right? I also thank Archangel Michael and Gabriel. All walks of life. All walks of life. Alright. I think I'm going to go ahead and end this one here. Thank you guys so much for being here once again. And until next time. Bye.